Feel free to check out my TeePublic after the video. Son of Godzilla. This was when the series really started to target a much younger demographic by introducing Minya, Godzilla's adopted son, played by Marchan the Dwarf. Son of Godzilla would be set on an island once again, with Jun Fukuda returning as director and Masaru Sato as composer. This would also be the first time special effects assistant Sadamasa Arakawa would make his debut as special effects director. In fact, Toho actually held a naming campaign in which 8,211 applicants submitted their choices for names of the monster. The final name ended up being Minya, or Manila, short for Mini Godzilla, which had 135 submissions. But enough about Minya. The film is set on Sologel Island, where a team of UN scientists conduct experiments revolving around weather control as a means to be able to produce food in unstable climates. However, these experiments resulted in the mutation of giant mantises known as Kamacuras. Eventually, the Kamacuras surround a large mound of dirt and discover a giant egg within. After tearing the egg open, Minya hatches. Godzilla comes to save the infant and battles the three mantises. Afterwards, we enter perhaps the best moments of the film where Godzilla and Minya bond with one another. There's an instance where Minya is hopping around his father's tail as he sleeps, but trips over. It's a pretty cute moment. And others when Godzilla teaches him how to breathe atomic breath, but the little guy can only blow smoke rings. That is until Godzilla steps on his tail. One of my favorite moments is when Godzilla walks away and Minya ends up breathing actual atomic breath on his own and gets really excited about it. It's just so hilariously adorable and wholesome. After an encounter with a native girl from earlier named Seiko, played by Babari Maeda, she warns them of the Valley of Kumanga, where a giant spider sleeps. But it's eventually awakened by Minya, and Kumanga begins to attack. This leads into the climax of the film, where after Kumanga has Minya trapped in webbing, Godzilla comes to fight him off, with Minya joining later on. And as a result of one of the weather experiments going off, the island begins to freeze over, and after their victory against Kumanga, Godzilla embraces his son as they begin to hibernate, which in turn would create arguably the most emotional scene in any Godzilla movie. Son of Godzilla has remained to be a fan favorite despite the negativity it receives for pandering more towards children. And Minya does happen to be a love him or hate him character, but honestly that doesn't really make it a bad film. I would personally recommend Son of Godzilla the same way I'd recommend Ebirah Horror the Deep. The island setting does make it refreshing from the usual city or mountain setting. The human subplot is pretty good, even if it's not as engaging as the previous, but it does deliver some nice performances from actors such as Akira Kubo, Akihiko Hirata, and others. Yeah, the special effects are a little flawed in this film, but Kumanga does manage to make up for them, depending on how you see it. And again, the scenes with Godzilla and Minya are just heartwarming and can be pretty funny. Overall, it's not for everyone, but if you're a fan of Ebirah Horror the Deep, or just Jun Fukuda's style, then you'll enjoy Son of Godzilla. That's all I have for today's History of Godzilla. Stay tuned for next time when I talk about one of the most ambitious crossovers on the silver screen. Thank you for watching, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys later.